Hey everyone, I put out a video this morning that has a bunch of you guys really upset. Some folks really taking real issue with some of the language I used, and I would like to retract some of that, and I would like to clarify some other parts of that. And we also have some developments we need to talk about with regard to the strikes on Iran. Okay, let me first start off with a major retraction. I use the term carpet bombing, that the United States carpet bombed civilian targets. Now, we'll talk about the civilian targets in just a second. I am not going to retract that because we did attack civilian targets and we attacked civilians. Now, we'll get into the definitions of that, and you'll see by the definitions that that is true. Now, civilians can be legitimate targets in war, but civilians are people who do not carry guns, are not part of an armed force, and are not part of a police force. So the people that were working enriching uranium, scientists, technicians, people that mop the floor, those are civilians. And attacking a country's power plants are civilian targets. You can't convince me otherwise. It's not a missile battery. It's a reactor. It's a power plant. What happens if Iran attacks power plants in the United States? Would we call those civilian targets? Yeah, we will. And the same people that have been calling the power plants in Ukraine civilian targets for the past, I don't know how long, even the nuclear power plants in Ukraine that came under attack, those are civilian targets. So when the United States does it, this is the problem, friends. We have sanitized our language. We've pretended that the United States is the good guys, so therefore whatever we do is okay. I want you to put your Iran hat on. I want you to put your Muslim hat on for a moment. Not saying that that's who you are, but I want you just to see this from a slightly different perspective. I want you to imagine you're North Korea. I want you to imagine that you're part of the countries that are in Iran's sphere of influence. Now, I know you're going to say they're evil people. All of them are evil. All of them are wrong. We're right. They're wrong. And if your world is that black and white, well, friends, well then, why don't we just nuke Iran off the face of the earth? That's what the warmongers want. Why don't we just, while we're at it, why don't we nuke all of China off the face of the map? Why don't we just nuke all of Russia off the face of the map? Because they're bad guys and we can do whatever we want to them. Now, I said that the term carpet bombing, I'd like to retract that. I should not have used that language. While I think I could argue that it was not incorrectly used, it does imply indiscriminate bombing. Now, let's look at the definition of carpet bombing and we'll see if it applies here. Carpet bombing, also known as saturation bombing, is a large area bombardment done in a progressive manner to inflict damage in every part of a selected area of land. Now, is it a selected area of land? We attacked several plants, 2 reactors, and an enrichment center, which these are underground, a selection of land. Were we saturating with explosives those areas? Yes. Now, common usage brings up pictures of World War II, us just dropping bombs. To the uninitiated, seem to be indiscriminate. Now, the bombers that took off were given targets in World War II. They were trying to hit something. They weren't just blowing just random stuff up. They weren't like, there's some houses over there, let's go blow them up. They were going after manufacturing plants. They were going after vehicle manufacturing plants. They were going after steel mills. They were going after industrial targets. Now, the problem was back then, they had to drop their bombs very high up so they didn't get shot down. And the bombs were unguided, so they just kind of missed a lot. Now, towards the end of the war, we were so upset that we were just We just basically firebombed all of Tokyo off the face of the map. Which again, I'd like to go back and say, Americans view World War II, and we look at the horrific things that the American forces did as completely legitimate. Because, quote, we were the good guys. Now, I understand they attacked us first. Now, Japan said that basically you're restricting our economy, you are threatening us, so we're going to attack you first. Now, turn that around for a moment here and look at this on the lens. Has Iran attacked us first? No. We just Pearl Harbored Iran. I know a bunch of you are going to be immediately, but we're the good guys. Friends, the Japanese thought the Japanese were the good guys. I mean, is there no moral, standard or a real standard out there? Aren't we going to be judged by what we do? And as I was trying to point out, there are significant consequences to what we've just done. The parliament in Iran has just voted to close the Hormuz Strait. 20% of the world's oil travels through that strait, and oil prices are about to go through the roof. Now, a bunch of people were out there saying, but Steve, we don't buy oil from Iran. Well, Iran's not going to stop Iranian oil. They're going to stop Saudi oil, Iraqi oil. They're going to stop Kuwait oil. They're going to stop United Arab Emirates oil in the Strait of Hormuz. That oil is not going to flow. And it doesn't matter who buys it. It's all one market. 20% of the world's oil is going to be trapped, which means the price of oil in the world is going to go up dramatically very shortly. That is one consequence here. Again, let's keep brainstorming this. Now, President Trump is out there saying that Iran kind of asked for this, that they chanted death to America. North Korea does that. North Korea threatens one of the United States allies, South Korea, regularly. They chant death to America. They've developed nuclear weapons, or at least seem to have, or at least they're trying to. Why aren't we bombing North Korea? Heck, China developed nuclear weapons. China is against us and is threatening a U.S. ally, Taiwan, with invasion. Why don't we bomb China? What about Russia? They got nukes. They're bad guys. They're attacking a U.S. ally. We're being told Ukraine is an ally. They're threatening other U.S. allies. Why don't we bomb Russia? Well, friends, just because someone's bad or evil, which I completely agree. Iran is absolutely evil. They torture and imprison Christians. They torture and imprison political dissidents. There's no freedom of speech. Women are forced to live under Sharia law. Men are forced to live under Sharia law. It's horrific. Absolutely horrific. And has Iran attacked United States directly? No. But they have provided weapons that have caused the death of up to about 1,000 American servicemen. Death or casualties in Iraq. They were supplying Iraqi insurgents with not only training but also explosively formed projectiles, EFPs, that were used on U.S. armored vehicles. So, are these guys bad? I don't disagree with you. These are horrible people. The government of Iran is horrible people. The people of Iran aren't horrible people. Now, the United States dropped 14 30,000-pound bombs and launched 30 Tomahawk missiles and, according to my math, launched another 31 precision munitions. Because we're told 35 precision munitions. Now, it could be in addition to the Tomahawks and in addition to the 14 massive ordnance penetrators. That's a lot of munitions on 3 locations. Locations that we are told by President Trump were hit completely by surprise. We took Iran completely by surprise. They totally didn't expect this coming. Places where Iran was enriching uranium at one of the locations, that they were running power plants at the other two locations, nuclear reactors at two other locations. Power plants, enrichment facilities, they require people to be in them and working. People who aren't carrying boomsticks. Now there's soldiers and stuff like that, and those aren't civilians, but there are plenty of civilians that were working at these locations. If we caught them completely by surprise, there were civilians inside. Now, Iran is out there saying basically that nobody was killed. They seem to be downplaying this, which is either they didn't get taken by surprise and they moved all of the equipment out of there and we just basically blew up some empty buildings, which is a whole nother conversation to have. Did we just blow up 3 sites that were just empty buildings? That would be a problem for different reasons. But we just had a massive amount. This was a massive, large-scale attack on a sovereign nation. And my point on this whole thing is not they're good guys and that's okay. It's there's massive consequences to this, and we're going to feel those in the coming days. And 2, where was Congress in this? Does the President of the United States really have the authorization to launch a massive... Now, we're being told by Marco Rubio and the other people that we're not at war with Iran. We are at war with Iran's nuclear program. I didn't know we could declare war on nuclear programs. Is that like... How do you define the boundaries and people of that? What does that mean? That is... And that's my frustration here, is that we're playing word games. The United States is playing word games, and unfortunately, I think a lot of people are playing along. And was it carpet bombing? Okay, let's say it's not. There were massive precision strikes with massive overwhelming firepower on defined geographical areas that were part of a nuclear program that were where many civilians worked, which were not given pre-advance warning. Israel, when it attacks a civilian building, oftentimes gives advance warning. Now, we're being told that that's still a war crime by certain people out there. But the United States goes in to a country that we're not at war with, where we're not in active hostilities with, and launches a surprise attack on buildings that contain civilians. Are we the bad guys? Like, do we need to ask that question? Again, if your defense is, no, we're not the bad guys, they're the bad guys, therefore we can do whatever we want to them. That's the justification that Germany used. That's justification Japan used. That's the justification many other countries that have done horrific atrocities in the past have done, is they're the bad guys, so we can do whatever we want to them. If this was approved by Congress and we actually formally declared war, I've made no bones about that. I'm not a pacifist. I am a non-interventionist. I'm an isolationist. I think the United States should only attack countries that have attacked the United States. And the United States sticking our military bases up everyone's nose, I think is a provocation. I think it is the United States meddling in all sorts of places where we don't belong. And we're sticking our noses in everybody's business. And when somebody threatens to punch us in the nose because of all the interventionist stuff that we're doing, does that give us the authority to go and start blowing up their power plants? I would argue no. I think Israel has real grounds for their attack on Iran. I think that their government has approved it. This isn't like some secretive thing that they're doing. The government of Israel has declared war essentially on Iran. The government is behind it. They've chosen as a people to fight. They have good reason to do so. They're being threatened with, eradication as a people. And Iran has, through its proxies, attacked Israel countless times. And directly attacked Israel several times. So I see Israel has a full right to attack Iran. And I believe that the United States, as an ally of Israel, should be helping support Israel in their war with Iran. But should the United States be using U.S. military service members to launch a unprovoked attack on Iran? My answer is no. And I get that some of you guys disagree with me on that. We can disagree on things, but I believe that that's my position. I don't think that the United States should be attacking North Korea. If North Korea attacks South Korea, I think South Korea should fight that war. And if our ally is desperately in need of us, I think that we should help. But Israel's winning this war, and the United States government is not going through the proper channels to declaring war on Iran. So that's my position. What I've said, I stand by most of what I said. I will retract the carpet bombing and say we massively attacked in a targeted fashion civilian targets with civilians inside, allegedly. And we just did that. And now there's going to be consequences. Some of you guys picked bones and said Iran can't hit the United States with a ballistic missile. And they're not capable of doing so. And I said in my video, if they put a ballistic missile on a cargo ship or on a warship or on, a oil tanker and bring it close enough to the United States that they can launch it from there, they do have the capability. So they can put their missile on a moving platform and can attack the United States. Will they be successful in that? Probably not. I mean, I hope the United States is watching the ships that are floating around the world, making sure that Iran is not doing anything shady or nefarious. But we got Yemen to watch. We got Iran to watch. We got Hezbollah over in Lebanon to watch. All those countries have access to ships. Some of those ships we keep seemingly to lose track of. We got all these oil tankers from Iran floating around the world, moving oil backwards and forth. Can they possibly figure out a way to sneak a cargo container onto a ship that comes within spitting range of the United States, even staying outside of our maritime borders? That's very possible. They could do that. In fact, that's a terrifying reality of today. So, Iran is out there saying that the war has now finally begun. So, those of you who are like, we're not at war. Well, we're at war with Iran's nuclear program, and Iran has just said that they're at war with the United States. So, I get that some people don't like my frank language and don't like how I worded some things, but it is what it is. So, as this thing develops, please be watching out. Oil price is probably going to go through the roof in the very near future. Stock market's probably not going to like this at all. And when Iran hits us back, which they will almost certainly try to hit us back, attacking U.S. military bases in the Middle East and potentially attacking us here at home. The stock market's not going to like that, and it could impact you. So that's my report and my update and my retraction and my explanation. All right, friends, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. If you're still upset, if you still absolutely disagree with some of the things I've said, if you have some facts that contradict what I've said, please share those. If you have factual information that I factually got wrong, please do that. If you don't like my semantics because you don't agree with the definitions that I am reading off the internet, okay, I don't know. I don't know where to go from there. You can keep watching, and I'd love to have you. If you want to go listen to somebody else, cool. There's plenty of options on YouTube. All right, friends. Love you all. Thanks so much for watching. And for those of you who were highly offended by my use of the word carpet bombing, I apologize. All right, friends. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report, out.